Hey guys, it's Prepared Meals Chef and Teddy. Go play Teddy. Um, Things are progressively getting worse, right? Inflation's going up, um, really bad. Gas is getting ridiculously high. Um, our military is getting weaker. Us going into World War III is becoming a bigger probability every day. We're probably going into some sort of pseudo World War III, if not full blown World War III. There will be more invasions of world powers on allied, not even allied, but like U.S. interests, right? So like China will go into Taiwan at some point. Um, Something will happen to Australia more than likely. Um, I just that's kind of off the wall, but there's some stuff there. North Korea will probably do something to South Korea, or South Korea will probably do something to North Korea. Um, but things are progressively getting worse. So, what do? We buy bullets and beans and band aids. And we buy bullets. And we buy beans. And we buy band aids. And we buy bullets. And we buy a harvest rate. And we buy band aids. And we buy an IFAC. And we go to a training class. We buy bullets, beans, band aids. Bullets, beans, band aids. Okay. Question. When the sun's down, do you go to sleep? Teddy, stop. Oh. Seriously. Do you sleep when the sun is down? Do you sleep at all? Or do you do meth? Right? So you got to sleep at some point. I'm sure meth heads sleep. I don't know. Never actually met a meth head. Um, so you got to sleep. So somebody's got to pull security while you sleep. Someone's got to pull security while your wife sleeps. Someone's got to pull security while your kids sleep. Who is that person? I don't need the answer to that question. You do. So I'm a combat vet and a certified pastry chef. I could go to a bunch of combat vets and be like, hey guys, let's start up. I don't care what you call it. I don't care. A mag, a mutualist, a mag, a tribe, a community, um, whatever. I don't care what you call it. Um, there's some issues with that though. If the number one filter, right, the first thing that they have to meet is skills. I really feel like you are doing yourself and the people around you and the people you love a disservice. So for me, number one filter, who do you say Christ Jesus is? And like I've had this conversation with people. Who do you say Christ Jesus is? If they don't say he is the only begotten Son of God and believe it, you know what? We can barter together. Um, I may walk around their little village community thing. We're not bedding down together. Not because of unevenly yoked, because that's marriage. But if we don't have theology and at least mostly alignment, right? So I'm a traditionalist. I'm a Baptist traditionalist, which means that I hold the views that traditionally the Southern Baptist Convention has held, which is that God is omniscient, God is omnipowerful, Um, you know, but he doesn't pick who chooses to go. He doesn't pick and choose who goes to heaven. And I have a Calvinist pastor, so there can be like some not overlap, but there can't be like button heads. We can't have significant biblical issues. Who do you say Christ Jesus is? Who do you really say he is? Who do you really, in the depths of your heart, believe he is? How do you believe that you get everlasting life? This. And so some of you might see it. I don't know. Oh, you can't see that on camera. Should I leave the? Nope, I'm not going to leave the situation alone. This is King James. Um, I'm preferred to the King James, but as of late, a lot of ESV, right? So, I might bed down with a King James only guy. Um, but man, if we can't get theology together, I don't think there's any need of going a whole lot further. And so, the Mormons are great people. The Mormons, depending on what's going on in the world, may let you go into their church and use their kitchen to like can food. And if you want to do that, do that. I don't care what you do. I think, from what I understand, it's economically a great idea. There's a lot of pros to that because it's cost effective, like I just said. But like the Mormons have thought through this, and they're doing large scale prepping essentially. Um, I'm not betting down with these people because I don't recognize these words because they're not. They're not the words of God. And you know what? You can be a good person. You can be theologically wrong. You can be a good person that helps other people and on your way to hell. I'm not going to let you poison people I love. If you are editing the Bible, if you are editing the Bible so that dog, if you are editing the Bible so that you can twist God's words, if you are editing the Bible and twisting God's words so that you can have your false theology, you might be a really good person. You don't want to. I'm not betting down with you. I'll say that. Hey, can you be less psychopathic right now? So number one, theology. Number two, community. All right. Can you at least begin working towards minimum standards? What are minimum standards? They're things that you say have to happen. You have to have 90 days of canned goods. You have to have a year supply of corn, rice, wheat, beans in buckets. I don't care what your minimum standards are, but you should have them, and somebody in the group should be enforcing them. Your minimum standards could be whatever. You have to have this much food. You have to have this particular size type of weapon and this particular caliber. Notice I'm being really vague because as long as you have them and they're thought out, like that's better than not. Um, Minimum amount of food, minimum amount of security implements, weaponry, whatever you want to call it, gear. You might want to get into certain colors, right? So we are the coyote group, right? We only wear coyote. Okay, if that's your minimum standard, that is your minimum standard. Your minimum standard needs to be minimum. Your minimum standard needs to be minimum. So, if you've been prepping since 1999 because the world was going to end in 1999 because of ones and zeros and a computer that has been obsolete since 2001, I just hurt somebody's feelings. And you have 35 years of food and 1,000,000 rounds of ammunition and 100 ARs. First of all, can we be friends? Can we please be friends? Second off, you cannot expect somebody to get to that level to meet your level of preparation overnight. So maybe minimum standard is, hey, we are all headed towards 3 years. We're all headed towards 7 years, right? We're all gonna have 7 years of food. Like that's the goal. In order to come here, in order to be a part of this, you need to put one bucket up a week until there's 26 buckets for each person in your family. There's 4 people in your family. That's 2 years and some change. Or 2 years exactly, rather. All right, cool. Awesome. Grand. Amazing. If that's your minimum standard, that's your minimum standard. But you and your community, mag, group, tribe need to have that. You need to have it on everything. And they could be things that you work towards. So, one of the things that I'm really passionate about is everybody grabbing a piece. Because we're a community. Everybody needs to know how to garden. I'm really bad at it. Everyone needs to know how to cook. I'm really good at that. Everyone needs to know how to pull security. I'm really good at that. But like, Harvest Rec freeze dryers are several $1,000s. Maybe that's a community buy. Maybe a grain mill is a community buy. So I'm really big on like getting ready for life without fuels of any sort, which by nature means life without gas, which by nature means life without vehicles. So, no tractors, no cars. All of a sudden, manual labor became like the only way to do things, right? Including if you've been being violently harassed by a group 16 miles away. Well, you're new to preparedness. Step one is not learn how to walk 16 miles. But maybe step one is you stop drinking soda and you walk a mile a day until you can walk 2 miles and 3 and then eventually 16. and then 16 with kid on. You need minimum standards. You need a filter system. So my filter system is, who is Jesus? How do you get to heaven? Because if you have Jesus, so you have the big filter, all of a sudden, how do you get to heaven? Who are we allowed to use deadly force on? Which is a theology question, right? Are we allowed to use deadly force on a child that's still in the mother's womb? The answer for that for you is yes. We are not in community together. If the answer to if I asked you, can we kill a known serial murderer, and you're vehemently opposed to it, you don't want to be in community with me. So filters, right? And then once you have the pool of people that you can grab from, minimum standards, and they need to be achievable for everybody. Um, there's a point in time, actually, I can almost still do it. 10 miles, 2 hours, 60 pounds. Not 2 hours and 1 minute, not 2 hours and 1 second. If you if you cross over it to anything, you're wrong. 159.59 is it. Um, but that's not a minimum standard. But pick up your bug out bag and go 5 miles. That could be something like, hey, until you reach this, there's going to be things that we're going to hold you to. I don't care what they are for you. I don't care if, for me, everyone needs the same caliber and type of weapon. If you just want round count of like this guy's got 7.62, this guy's got 308, which are the same thing. This guy's got 5.56, this guy's got 2.23. Those are the same thing. This guy's got 22. If that's what you're okay with, and they all have 10,000 rounds, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that for you. If that's your minimum standard, but you need to start building relationships with other people to just make it through what's coming. And the bigger your group is, the easier this is gonna be. It is always easier for a battalion size group of people to make it than a platoon size group of people. It just is. Alright, you need to figure out what your filter is. You need to figure out what minimum standards should look like. You need to meet people. You need to start building whatever you want to call it. Have a great day, guys.